Hi, folks. Two uncles are back. Welcome back, and another exciting week, or maybe not that much exciting, but it was good weekend and Champions League this week, and looking forward to some interesting banter between us.
Yeah, it's been a lot of games. The games are coming pretty thick and fast this week. And I think it was an odd midweek with the Champions League games and a couple of Premier League games squeezed in there also. So yeah, lots to watch. Try to catch up on most of it. I think I saw a lot of it. But yeah, lots to talk about. So where do we start, Gulu?
Start with recap of last weekend.
Right. What
But
what
hey,
games?
but one thing, man, it's like so Champions League coming up, FA Cup coming up during midweek, Premier League games coming up. It's tough, man, for working class. When do we work?
Exactly, dude.
You
All
got to
those
think about,
extra data charges on your phone. It's hard
yeah,
to keep up, man. This is
exactly.
FIFA is sucking the money out of everyone at this point.
Absolutely.
Right?
And there will be some more stuff next season. But let's start with last weekend's recap.
Yeah, let's see. Well,
Your club.
my club. All right, let's start there. So Wolves 2, Spurs 1. If you recall, Gulu, last time I predicted the score correctly, 2-1.
The
Got
other
the sides wrong, you know.
one.
So that was a little painful. Not much to say. I think Spurs just didn't play well in the game. I think the loss of the fullbacks didn't, affected the game a lot. Like Emerson Royale plays with a lot of heart, but not enough skill, I think. He lost the ball a lot of times. Granted, the fullback position is very hard under Postecoglou's team, but it was like poor. I think that's where we kind of lost the game. Madison was tied down, and usually when that happens, Spurs rely on Udogi or Poro. Both were missing in this game, so we could have won it. The goals we conceded were also very poor. I think the first one was a header from the corner where the dude was um, essentially unmarked, right?
Yeah,
Gomez.
yeah, yeah.
And then the second one was a counter. Wolves are good, right? They're very well organized. They'll pounce. Um, so yeah, poor stuff. I enjoyed that Kulusevski goal was kind of fun. Like the typical
Yeah,
beat a player, did a little shimmy
yeah,
and
yeah.
put it through the keeper's leg. Like good goal
Such
to
a
watch.
tight
I
angle.
felt like we had some chances. We could
Yeah,
have at that point when the momentum was with us at 1-1.
yeah.
We could have kind of stepped on the gas a little, but yeah, it is what it is. I think disappointing, but Wolves are impressive. I will say,
All right.
I
Yeah,
will say they are pretty
they,
impressive and exciting. So
they took the game to United too, and if you
mhm.
remember, it was that counter where they
Yeah, and
realized
it was some
and
I think
Neto.
last minute winner or something, right,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
United.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Neto, the way he ran, dude.
Oh
My
man,
God, I
crazy.
can't believe that. That speed
No,
it just went on and on.
yeah,
Uh,
he's really good. I think he's going to be a big sought after player in the summer.
in summer,
A lot
yeah.
of clubs will be after him. Um, but yeah, speaking of United, I think good win against a pretty good Luton team.
I was,
Luton is, honestly, sorry, I'll let you, before you jump into the
go ahead.
United stuff. I think Luton, I feel bad for them because they're a good team. They play some good stuff
Yeah.
and they try super hard. And they're small stadium and all that, total underdog. They should have beaten 10-man Spurs last time. They
Mm.
lost to a last minute goal against Arsenal. They played well against United. That could have been a 2-2 draw, I think. And they've had big scoring,
Oh,
games with other teams as well. So just kind of, fall short. So I feel bad for them, but I enjoy, actually, kind of in a way, enjoy watching them play a little bit.
yeah, they're good, man. I think even against Liverpool, did they draw? at Kenilworth Road. I think they drew against,
Might have been a draw, but then
and
this midweek they had a or in this midweek game they had a big defeat. So
they took the fight to Arsenal
Mhm.
also, I remember. And United game, what can I say, man? I mean, it was fantastic, like first 30, 40 seconds or something. And then came the other one, 7 minutes in, yeah, 2-0. And I was like, oh yeah, here's a way to make up the goal difference or better goal difference. And
yeah,
Mike, I didn't expect that, man. So
yeah, these guys fought hard, and
they fought really well, and
I feel
I think I think I think it could have been a draw. I
I
think it
think it
could
could
have
have been
been
a draw, like,
fair
but
result.
then look, it could have been a draw. I think like
But
Luton played well for large periods of that game.
yeah,
But then I think in the end, like, United had a couple of good counters as
yeah,
well, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Surely
I guess it could have been 3-1 as well, but I think a draw, we would have said, yeah, fair result. Luton fought a lot. I think everybody would have been
there
happy
were
with that.
there were some missed chances. I mean, I would say good chances. United should have scored, but then it was interesting. First half, if you look at
Mhm.
it, I mean, Maguire, Shaw, Casemiro got a red, not a red, sorry, yellow.
Should have gotten a red,
He
I
should have
think,
got a
to be
red.
honest.
Who knows? But it was not working out, in the defense somehow. And then came Evans, I think, and then I don't know who. Oh yeah, Lindelof. I mean, Shaw is gone,
Yeah.
man. Did you
Yeah.
read about it? Shaw is
He's gone
out.
for the season, right? Yeah. Or a few months, they
He
said.
may come back right at the end of the season, but he's out.
Yeah.
So it's a blow. But in the end, 3 points is 3 points, and
Yeah.
I would say bach gaye.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Mourinho said, right? You keep the
Yeah,
ball, I keep the 3 points.
exactly, man. Honestly.
So I think
Uh,
Luton, yeah, tough on them, but I hope they survive. I think that would be a good story if they survived at the end of the season.
yeah.
But other good games: Arsenal 5, Burnley 0. Like I think Arsenal are, I think they're, they're doing better. I feel than last season. Like at this point in last season, they were kind of fighting with Man City, but they would have the odd draw or like, they drop points somewhere, like, lose a game, but still manage to stay in touch. But this time, I feel like they're a bit further, like more like a machine this time. And, they were amazing in that, like, 5-0 against Burnley. I hate saying that as a Spurs fan, but they were pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think uh, looks definitely it's going to be a fun, like, if it I hope it's a three-horse race for the title, because that'll be super fun. We haven't had that in a long time, and every kind of game is going to be like, the pressure is on. Every draw will like change the configuration of the top, so it's super super exciting, man.
Speaking of Gunners, actually, you bring up this point, and it's going to be an important one. See, last season, the first half of the season was like, oh, wow, Arsenal. I think by
Yeah,
Christmas, they were
unstoppable.
top of the league, right? And they
Yeah.
were a massive run,
Mhm.
defeated and so on and so forth. And then the second half, typical Arsenal.
Yeah.
So it may change. I
Yeah.
think they did not. They started well. I
Mhm.
don't think they didn't
No,
start
but I
well.
think the thing
Second half
is,
is going to be where they
yeah.
are getting
So
into that.
yeah, so we're like what game like 25 games into the season, right?
Yeah,
So I think last season, I feel like after that great start, like the wobble had just started like a little bit by
yeah,
this point.
yeah.
But in this season, I think they're like further, they've
They're
pushed the
further.
season further
Exactly.
without having that wobble. And that
Exactly.
wobble might still come and
Yeah,
might still prove expensive.
yeah,
But I think, they're kind of um, doing a good job of like really keeping it tight at the top and
yeah.
like keeping it close, right? And who knows, man, one draw and Liverpool could be in like third place next
Yeah.
week, or something like that, right? So
So
or not third place, not next week, but one
yeah,
defeat, fluke defeat, and it could all change, right? For any of these teams.
that's the
So,
fun part, man.
yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like not like, oh wow, you are like 10 points
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Like
which of
so
these five
close.
teams will get the next three spots?
And
Yeah.
and
So I
speaking
think
of
it's going to be
Liverpool,
fun.
actually, so
Huh?
speaking of Liverpool, so this was against Brentford last week, right? And
Yeah,
then of
yeah,
course they had a midweek on
Yeah.
Monday. No, yes, Monday they played, I think, right?
Yesterday they played actually. Yeah.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was surprised. I mean, with all the injuries,
Hmm.
okay, it was Brentford last weekend, and then yesterday was against Luton, right?
Luton. Yeah.
I'm surprised, man. Salah is out, Soboslai is out. Who else? Uh,
Matip has been out for like such a long time.
yeah, and
Diego Jota is out now.
Jota is out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Alisson is
I
out.
mean, Jota was out in the Brentford game. Like that's the game he got
Right, right.
injured. But
Alisson is injured, so
yeah, it's crazy, man.
but they got it, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, there is something there.
yeah,
I think they. Yeah, it's tough to say, but they still have some tough games. I was looking at the fixtures for Arsenal, City versus
mhm.
and Liverpool, the remaining fixtures. There is no clear cut kind of, oh, this one has an easier run in,
Yeah, yeah,
to the end of the season.
yeah.
They're
The
equal. They're
interesting
kind
bit
of
though is I think Spurs. There's a stretch at the end of the season where Spurs actually, I think, play all of them. They play City, Liverpool, and Arsenal in almost like consecutive weeks. So if nothing else, I think you know Spurs can have a say in who wins, right? Like they, and I don't hope I hope they don't lose all three or something like that. But even if they do one draw, one win, one loss, like that'll be interesting, right? Like
I
who's the
think,
spoiler?
sorry, man, I have to say this, but Spurs have a lot of say in their own destiny, man. To finish top four, man. Honestly, I mean, I think even United has to play City
Mhm.
after next week, next to next weekend, right? I mean, not this coming weekend, but the next one. They still
Mhm.
have to play Liverpool. Who else? Arsenal, they still have to play.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah, it's going to be,
we all have to play the top three teams.
and it can change, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
can change pretty rapidly.
but
Villa is also like, they beat Fulham. They had a good win. Fulham, I don't know.
I
Like you
think
never know what team you're going to get with Fulham. Like they're very hot and
is
cold.
my next one. Yeah.
Um,
But I think uh, City Chelsea was a fun,
yeah.
really fun.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, bro, fair result, I would say. I mean, I think it was a fair result.
I think so. I think so. I
Yeah.
think they managed to well. I think Chelsea surprised a lot of people,
Yeah.
and then City managed to like kind of come back into it. And um, but yeah, even there, like, well, I guess they also have couple of injuries or people coming back. Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne. But I think the pattern is as long as they have Rodri, I think they keep, or they don't lose at least, right?
True.
So yeah, I mean, in a way, it was kind of funny. The Chelsea game. Now that I think about, like, City also had that same problem in a way. Like they couldn't break Chelsea down. The low block. They kept going through Doku, Doku, Doku. He kept doing a step over,
Mhm.
beating one guy, passing sideways, doing a step over, beating one guy, passing sideways. So they also could not, find a way, man, until Rodri broke through. So similar problem to what like Spurs had in a way, right? It was again Wolves were just like compact. We would like keep going, 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 sideways, sideways, sideways. Nothing happens. The only difference was like we are leaking obviously so many more goals, right? Which is making a huge difference.
But
Uh,
Chelsea, interesting. I mean, I think who was taking care of Doku? Is it Gusto or was it Desasi center back, right?
it
Is
was Gusto, I think, against
Gusto,
Doku.
right?
Yeah.
He had a good game, I think. What I
Hmm.
saw,
Hmm.
it was a pretty good. I mean, I think it was something which kind of shows, okay, maybe there is something there
Yeah.
with and Desasi had a good game, I think. Um, uh,
Yeah. Sterling played well against his former team.
yeah,
Palmer played pretty
exactly.
well.
So I think
Yeah, I mean,
stepping up,
they were decent. I think they're decent, but I think maybe Poch is getting it together now a little bit, but their start was just like very, very poor, right? Of the
the,
season. It was like horrible start.
uh,
Uh,
and And speaking of that, I mean, you're saying that, but we'll talk a little bit about what's coming for Pochettino on it's Sunday, right?
Mhm.
But we'll talk a little bit about that. But
Yeah.
what's coming? So you don't play this weekend
Yeah,
because
Spurs, because I think we would have played Chelsea actually,
Chelsea this
ironically.
weekend, exactly.
But then they have the Carabao Cup, which we'll come to. But other interesting games this weekend. You guys play Fulham. Any thoughts, predictions on that game?
Old Trafford, probably 2-0
Okay.
United. Considering the current kind of, Hoyland will probably
Hmm.
score. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think it should be okay. But again, it's Fulham and it's Premier League. Whatever can happen, anything can happen.
Hmm.
But what I'm actually looking forward to is Arsenal Newcastle, man.
Hmm.
Now it's at Emirates,
That's
so I'm
definitely
not
the big game of the weekend
a big game of the
by
weekend. It's
far.
Emirates. Arsenal is in the form that they are in right now. I
Yeah,
doubt.
Arsenal is in great form. I think Newcastle again is like you don't know what you're going to get with Newcastle. They've had injuries, but it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be an interesting.
That's a good.
Newcastle is definitely capable of like causing an upset here. I think.
Oh,
But Arsenal again, man, they are in like some incredible sort of form. I think they've scored what 5 goals in the last 2 games, or 5 and 4 goals or something. It's
so
amazing.
you think Newcastle can get a draw at Emirates?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible, not probable. Yeah, you know.
Looking like a
Because I
Spurs
think, like,
fan.
here's the thing, dude. I don't know who's going to like Arsenal's front three with the pace and trickery that they have. Um, I think the against Trippier and what's his name, the other guy on the other side, Dan Burn. Like these tricky wingers will just, you know, run around. Like it's going to be crazy, man, for these guys to keep up. But they are experienced hands, so you never know.
You
Yeah,
know what? I need to change my FPL. I need to put Shaw in there.
yeah. So Shar is pretty good. He's been their top goal
Scoring.
scorer, in the
Yeah,
last few
exactly.
games.
Exactly.
Shar is good. Gumarish is good. Callum Wilson is out. I think Alexander Isak should be back. I think,
Is he
or he
back?
will be back. So he's kind of tricky on the other side. Super
Yeah.
talented guy. It's going to be a good game. I think it's fun. I'm very like optimistic that it's going to be a good game.
Other than that, I think what would be interesting would be, well, Brighton plays Everton, but Everton has kind of had this bump and now they're kind of again getting going down.
Yeah.
That could be an Bournemouth City, actually. What do you? I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, that's you're quite optimistic, man, of that being a good one. But that being said, again, like City has been like not sparkling in their last few games, right? So it could be interesting. And then Bournemouth is also like they're smart, like they have a good coach. He
Let's
plans well, so yeah, could be interesting.
let's put it this way. They were, well, okay, it was Chelsea 1-1, but there is something. City is not that City what we had seen last 3 seasons, I think.
Hmm.
There's something which is, I don't know, I don't think it is because, oh, Gundo has left and Mahrez has left, but they still have world-class players, man, in every position. But there is something not, I don't know if it's a defense. I mean, okay, Diaz is there, Guardiola has not played.
I think the difference is that Holland has been injured, and even like last year it just felt like he was just every game, man, he was just like banging the goals in, right? Like City was, in fact, I think last year their defense wasn't that great, but they were like
Yeah,
banging the goals in. This season it's kind of opposite. They've like been much tighter in defense, but Holland's been injured, and like they're kind of getting the goals but not quite. It's coming from streaky players, right? Like Foden had a hat trick in one game, somebody else. Oscar Bob had a couple of good games where he scored or something. So it's not the quite the dominant force, but they're in second place. So
Very quickly, West Ham going down, 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 man.
yeah, I don't know what happened over there, man.
Suddenly,
It's
right?
shocking.
Yeah,
We
it's
need to see
shocking
the
actually.
documentary, man. Somebody needs to make a documentary about this.
Well,
So I
might
don't know.
be
I think overnight they just turned to crap, basically.
totally, man. I don't know. Is
I mean, maybe coinciding with Lucas Paqueta's injury. You
and
know,
Antonio is back? Not really.
Antonio was back in the last game,
Okay.
but Paqueta's injury, I think after that, so he got injured, and then like I think Kudus was also at the Afcon, so I think that's where it probably like started going like really downhill. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think he's very close to getting the chop. David Moyes, you know, Graham Potter can take over.
Oh yeah, we are forgetting that, man.
Mhm.
I will talk a little bit about some managers in trouble.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's definitely going, it's going to be a good weekend, especially, and then Carabao. Let's talk a bit about that. So it's on Sunday, am I right?
yeah. Sunday, Liverpool
So,
versus Chelsea.
what do you think?
I think Liverpool wins.
Liverpool, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. And Klopp's farewell tour, and Poch's poor record of winning silverware. So I don't expect that to
Hey,
change.
I want to ask you one thing, okay? Now, again, it's Liverpool and a United fan saying this. So, Poch has won the title,
Mhm.
Champions League. Did they win FA Cup and the Carabao Cup
I'm
before?
sure they've won all under Klopp.
Oh, yes, that was a time when they were thinking about the treble, right? That's when they won the Carabao and FA.
Hmm.
No, no, the second, the season after they won the title, or was it before? I think. Anyway, so but they have won it. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so one, two, yeah, four trophies. All right. Mourinho wins that in one season, man. Right? Four trophies, right? Under Klopp. 7 years.
Oh my God, dude. You
Let,
are like seriously comparing Mourinho to.
let's let's just be if we are talking about results and trophies, which is this game is all about that.
Let's be totally
7 years,
objective about this,
seven
shall we? Yeah.
7 years, 7 years. How many trophies have you won?
Oh man. How many Champions League have you won in the last 7 years, dude?
Forget about that. I'm talking about Liverpool, man.
That's there you go, man. You can make stats up to like any, any to satisfy any story you want, right? So
Yeah, all right. I mean, as I said, I mean, I like Klopp and but
no,
he's
of course, dude. Of course, they're Liverpool. Of course, you're going to like talk smack about them. Fine. It's all part of the banter, right?
sure.
But dude, like okay, for the small club that Liverpool is, he's done pretty well for them, right? He got them the title after what, like 30 years or something, and he won a Champions League with them. I mean,
And okay. Well, recent times Van Dijk talking about there's only one team that wanted to win the league.
hey, perfect segue. You know what we should talk about now
But
is like the Jim Ratcliffe interview on BBC. Did you see
okay,
that?
of
There we
course.
go. From talking about Klopp to like, the floor
Let's
is yours, sir.
let's
Why
talk
don't you
about
talk about that interview? What did you
okay.
think?
So first things first, okay.
Oh
So
my God.
right. So I did not give Sir Ratcliffe my 20 shares.
Okay.
He
All
was
right.
so I'll share this. So I think I got them when it was $14 or $15.
Mm-hmm.
Uh he wanted my shares for $33
Mm-hmm.
cash, right? Of course, the point being, so let me give you my view of after hearing the interview and what has happened over last few weeks, right? So I remember a few podcasts, I think maybe in December or when this whole saga was going on. I said like, you know what, I'm kind of doubtful about having sporting side been managed by one and the commercial side managed by the other. But man, after I still have some doubts, I mean, how this will actually work practically. But if I look at what has happened in last 2, 3 weeks with Omar Berada, this proper football guy coming in as a CEO, talks about Dan Ashworth now. Let's see. I mean, there were some updates just few hours ago that yeah, it's Newcastle has said okay, whatever. Um, and then few other names been thrown here and there, including Benzema. And Mbappe, of course, coming
Of
here.
course, how could we forget?
Of course, Mbappe is going to come.
Zidane's coming out of retirement, dude, to play for
But
United.
one thing which I liked from the interview was that this guy knows his stuff, man. He is a football guy. I mean, he knows. Like when he was talking about, okay, let's just put it this way: Ratcliffe and Joel Glazer, right? I mean, Ratcliffe is talking about Cantona, Beckham and Bobby Charlton and George Best, and talking about who's Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne and all this stuff, right? It's he's at least aware of what the shit is happening around in the football world. Of course, he's been in sports, other sports as well, but that's the one part which I like. Uh, I think I'm a little bit more positive than what I was maybe a couple months ago. And at the end of the day, we want to knock off two teams off the perch now, not one. So I think we'll get there, 3, 4 years maybe. It'll take some time. I liked what he said about Old Trafford and the plans. Hopefully, they will materialize. Um, but at the end of the day, apart from me and Sir Ratcliffe sharing our birthday, um, I think it's good.
Okay. I mean,
Uh,
he is a United fan. I think everybody knows that. So he probably knows all the history and all that stuff, right?
yeah,
Which is good. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't like before, uh, getting linked to United, I didn't know who Omar Berada was or, Dan Ashworth was. Dan Ashworth, I knew a little bit because he was at
yeah, yeah.
Brighton as well. So he was the architect at, Brighton. So, you never know, man, how these things are going to work out, right? Like standard example, um, is also like during the transfer period, right? You suddenly get a new name of this person you didn't know about like 1 week ago. And then you're all like, oh man, this guy's a proper footballer. And like, I hope he transfers to our club. I'm like, dude, I didn't know about this guy like, 7 days ago, right? So point being that I think it's definitely like move in the right direction, right? That okay, this guy's saying the right things. He probably needs to win the fans over and the Manchester United community over and all that. So he's definitely saying the right things in that sense. And all signs point to okay, he's getting another like kind of recruitment specialist, right? In Dan Ashworth and all. So again, I think it's obviously probably going to take like maybe 2 seasons, right, to get the ball rolling. Like they need to get the players, reshape the squad. But yeah, it's going to be a fun ride. It's kind of headed in the right direction. I'm curious to see if ETH will still be there to see it through. Um, I could be wrong. I don't think he will. But yeah, but at the end of the day, that's the thing, right? I guess if you really need to change the direction of the club, right, then you need to be aligned like kind of from the top to the bottom,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So and top, obviously Glazers are the owners, but like if you look at Jim Ratcliffe down to the bottom, right? So like Omar Barada, Jim Ratcliffe, your Dan Ashworth, your manager. So everybody has to kind of be like totally pulling in the same direction. So if like one person doesn't fit that profile, they're out, and and that's fair, right? Because you have like a certain way of doing things. So it'll be kind of fun to watch, right? The
I know.
giant has been kind of awoken again. So
Yeah. Time will,
You
time,
might say, of course, the giant never went away, but I will say I think that it's not been smooth sailing, I would say, for a United fan, right? Last
Giants are
even like
immortal.
4 or 5 years, you know. Um, so yeah, you
Giants
know,
are, Giants are immortal.
well, that may be the case. Exactly. There
No,
you
but
go.
I think from overall, I mean, as I said, I'm a little more positive than what I was. So I'm not like, oh wow, this is going to be like remember, like some of these fans are like crazy, man. It was on Facebook or Instagram somewhere. Like, all right, we got Omar Parada, Dan Ashworth. Now next we are going to win the Premier League next season. I said, dude, I mean, where do these folks come from? So I think it's going to be 3 seasons more, three more seasons, and
All right.
three.
Okay.
Respect, respect,
Uh, so 3 seasons you'll be winning the Premier League again, huh?
challenging,
Challenging. Okay.
serious,
Okay.
serious challenging,
Yeah.
seriously challenging for the Premier League. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Speaking of winning titles, what's
Yeah.
going on at Bayern, man?
Talk to Kane, man. Call him. Dude.
Oh man, Kane and Dyer, dude. Bayern is
Yeah,
done.
yeah, Eric Dyer.
No,
Exactly.
it's kind of strange, dude. I think I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's Tuchel, man. I think the players don't like Tuchel, honestly. I think they're just playing crap. They probably don't get along with Tuchel, and Tuchel is like notorious for like being very stubborn and like his way or the highway. Kind of person. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, regardless of whatever, I think Xabi Alonso has done an incredible job, obviously, right? I don't even need to say it. It's like, you just have to say Xabi Alonso and everybody understands what's happening over there. That's incredible. But yeah, Bayern's decline is just like shocking, man. I don't know what's happened. I think clearly they're 8 points behind now. So I don't know if there's a realistic chance of like catching Leverkusen, especially because I think, have they still not lost a game this season?
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't. So yeah,
The
it's crazy.
Invincibles are there.
And yeah, I don't know who, Xabi ironically could be taking over at Bayern next season or whenever Tuchel leaves.
Uh, well, actually, like we were talking last one also, right? The last podcast. Like I think this summer transfer is more about managers than
Mhm.
players. I mean, with Xabi Alonso, I think he will go, but Liverpool could come calling, and I
Mhm.
don't know if that would be the right move. But I think he was going towards more towards Bayern, most likely based on whatever we are reading.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the but I'm surprised that you were saying that Tuchel may not last the season. They are
Yeah,
the
you never know, man. I think if they get like they're already a goal down, right, in the Champions League.
yeah
Uh, so
may they may be out soon of Champions
yeah,
League.
to Lazio of all people, man. So you never know. If they, imagine a time
But
comes when they
where
get knocked out
where
of the.
did where
Mhm.
did where did Ole's name come into all this? I have no idea.
He's in India, dude. Isn't he in India?
Yeah,
He can go
my
back to
brother.
Europe, man.
My brother was supposed to meet him, and that company kind of dissed him. I like, oh no, no tickets. Remember, I told you.
Yeah.
Like he won the quiz, and then they said, "Oh, the winner is gonna get a meeting with just meet and greet and photo op with Ole."
Uh-huh.
Nothing came through,
Wow.
but he was in India. He's Bombay, and then he went to Delhi. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
uh, maybe he's trying to work out some deals there, but
Mhm.
I don't know where did that name come from.
Yeah, that link was strange. But the guy who
But
tweeted it is apparently like a big reporter for Bayern. So
really, okay. But
yeah.
look at
So
the
it's not like a total BS tweet, basically.
Tuchel may go to. Nah, he won't go to Liverpool, man.
Maybe he'll go to West Ham. Yeah. That would be quite the fall from grace for Thomas
Exactly,
Tuchel.
exactly.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see
Oh,
how that
many
situation also, develops.
many managers looking for everyone from our favorite Jose. to Tuchel to
Oh yeah, he's on the
Conte.
market as well. That's crazy. There's a lot of money. You're right. There is a lot of
Yeah.
managers on the market.
Conte, I just read about like he may go to Milan.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Uh,
Conte and wow, Graham Potter again. Graham
Potter
Potter
as
is
well.
available.
Exactly. So speaking of that, what's coming? I mean, speaking of Milan, of course, Milan is in now. They dropped down to Europa. So what's happening in Champions League now?
I don't know. I think Champions League is still a couple of weeks away. Um, Next week is the FA Cup.
Pick up?
You guys are playing Nottingham Forest again, so Nuno Espirito Santo uh, and your old boy Anthony Alanga, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. It's away for United.
Okay.
But Champions League, I think Arsenal, you must be happy about that with that result. Uh,
Hmm.
that was Porto home, right?
This week, yeah,
Not that was
yeah.
yesterday, right?
Mhm. That was at Porto. Yeah.
At Porto, right? Oh, but
Hmm.
anyways, forget about now. I don't know why I keep thinking about the away goals rules. They're all gone. Of course, it's been a
Yeah.
couple seasons now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be City. We spoke about this before.
Hmm.
I don't see anybody. Bayern is not Barcelona. I don't think so. Inter.
Wow. Another treble for City.
No, there is FA Cup, right? We are still in FA Cup now.
Another
We missed
treble.
it.
That would be
We
crazy.
missed it last season, but we will do it this time.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. There we go. So on that note, let's see what happens over the Premier League and the FA Cup next week, and we will be back next week. Same bat time and same bat channel.
All right. Let's go.
Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.